Pathmark is the intelligent tool for web generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmark qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmark to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmark.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Trevor Lynn, Head of Marketing with Roboflow. How are you doing today, Trevor?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
It's great to have you on. I'm curious, and I'm sure our listeners who are tuning in are wondering what Roboflow is all about. So let's kick it off with that. Trevor, in your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Sure. So Roboflow is the easiest way to use computer vision in your applications or your business. So, the same way that maybe people are used to interacting with chatbots or OpenAI, or you're typing in text and you're getting text back. What we aim to do is make the visual world programmable in the same way. So the same way that you can talk to a chatbot and they can give you text back, you should be able to interact with visual data and understand what's in a room, who's in a room, how many things are in a room, detecting anything in a video or an image. So we make all that possible and give people the tools to build that on their own.
That's awesome to hear, right? I think that's the future. But so then for our listeners who are tuning in right now and they get a better understanding, what problems do you solve then for clients?
Sure. So we're a developer tools company. So developers, software engineers, and kind of really any engineer can use Roboflow as part of their tool chain. So they can start to build custom vision AI applications. And essentially what that means is we have open source tools, we have software as a service platform as well, where people can essentially add in their data, kind of help AI models understand their data. They can easily, with the click of a button, train a vision AI model, and then they can deploy that wherever they want, whether that's deploying it to a camera, putting it on a server, building it into an application, into a workflow, putting it on a mobile device. We have kind of open source tools, we have developer tools, and we have software as a service that lets people accomplish all of that. So we're really the tools that people build with, and we're not necessarily the end model. You use us to build your custom vision model.
Definitely, that's awesome to hear. And so then, is there a certain vertical? Is there an ideal ICP that you guys like to go for?
Sure. Yeah. So because we are a developer tool, we have tons of use cases and people using us all across the spectrum, from small companies or hobbyists or people starting out with an idea or just wanting to learn how to build with new tools like computer vision. So we have kind of people building us into features and products or powering their software applications on kind of the lower end. So maybe some founders or early stage startups or small businesses. But our core customers and the core of our business revolves around really large enterprises. So people in manufacturing, people in logistics, people in transportation or freight. One of the things where vision becomes very helpful is when you have to understand the physical world, because that's the world that you operate in. So you can imagine if you're a railway system, you need to know where freight's going. You need to understand, is my train maintenance, you want to automate understanding is there anything wrong with my train, or is there anything wrong with my cargo? Let's say that the train pulls into the yard, you need to move what's on the containers to maybe a warehouse. So, okay, now you need to tell trucks where to go to find those containers. You need to know what truck came into the facility. You need to know what truck left the facility. Okay, great. Now that truck goes to a warehouse. Okay, now they need to know which, bay to go into to unload the inventory. You need to make sure workers know what truck came into. So all of that stuff is usually historically happening with like pen and paper, or they're entering something into a computer. What computer vision allows is, cameras that you already have everywhere are capturing that information, automating the collection of it, and automating all of that information flow without having any sort of downtime or without having any sort of human error. It's just real-time automated information. And the same thing for manufacturing. So manufacturers use us to understand and do automated quality inspection or visual inspection, or understanding their process of assembly and helping program robots that not only maybe can move a part around, but they can be a bit more dynamic and achieve 2 or 3 tasks or identify problems in the process. So there's a ton of use cases, but so most of our biggest customers are dealing with really big physical operations out in the real world, and saving a little bit of time or increasing a little bit of accuracy or detecting 1 or 2 defects means a lot to their business.
Definitely awesome to hear that from you guys. So then, how would somebody find out about Roboflow? Is there an ideal channel or a client acquisition channel that you guys have?
Yeah, so one of the interesting things, my background has always been in B2B SaaS and kind of vertical software. And I was really nervous coming into a developer tools company because, everyone says, hey, you can't market to developers. That's not how it works. And the good thing is that, people are people. And so that means for us is you can market to developers. It's just probably a higher bar for how helpful you need to be. So it's kind of like the content marketing strategy that everyone knows and loves, but your bar for quality has to be really, really high. And what we've done is our marketing team is actually all engineers that are interested in growth and interested in marketing. So they can speak the language perfectly. They can call out hey, this is a half-baked idea, or this is a half-baked solution, or hey, we're using our tool when our tool is not the best solution at this point. We need to be using something else. And so we just focus on really, really high quality, in-depth content, guides, tutorials, enabling our customers to build what they want to build. And that's been working. So we're historically have been almost entirely inbound. YouTube has been a great channel for us. A lot of people like to learn things via YouTube and understand how to accomplish, using new technology with YouTube. So we have a YouTube channel that we've been growing. We have an open source software strategy. So giving tools to the community, giving free tools to our users, and iterating on them the same way we do it, paid software products. But, I think the good news is people are people. So as long as you're really genuinely helping them, and it's not kind of a marketing help, but it's just pure, genuine, actual help from a content standpoint, that's what's been working. And so we drive everybody to the website. We get them to sign up for our free trial or our free tier, and they start building with our tools. And then we kind of let the product speak for itself.
Definitely, that's important. I think something that I like what you mentioned, right? Having the marketing team be developers themselves. I think definitely that's a way to go, because marketing is one thing, is marketing, but when you have that insight of the developer and putting in, I think that goes a long way. So that's great to hear. And so as far as then your website goes, what role does a website then play for client acquisition? You mentioned you get a lot of inbound, but is it educational? Is it to attract people, or what would you say would be the outcome there?
Yeah, it's, that's where everyone goes, right? From a marketing team standpoint, we're measured on pipeline, and the way that we drive pipeline is we get new users on the platform that fit the ICP for our sales team. So the website is where it's all roads lead to the website. So it's critical for us. And so we do pay a lot of attention to it. One of the things that we try to do on our website is we try to bring the product to people as much as we can. We kind of have an interactive demo component where people can feel and kind of interact with computer vision. They can flip on their webcam, and their webcam can start identifying objects within the window. So we try to bring the product to folks. And the other thing we do is we have transparent pricing on our website. A lot of people in our industry don't have pricing at all. They might have a pricing page, but it's kind of 3 packages, and each one of them leads to contact sales. We're different. We have a free tier. You can come in and use the product and not pay us as long as you stay within some limits. We have a credit card swipe tier that if that meets your needs, you can be off and running and building with our tools. And then we obviously have the enterprise route for folks that need a little more time, maybe some security questions and things like that. So, we have the pricing transparency. We bring the product to the forefront of the website, which helps a lot. And then at the end of the day, making sure that our messaging resonates with what, the sales team is hearing with customers in terms of, why are people buying? What are people interested in? What are people coming in to talk to us about and needing help with? And so it's kind of a living, breathing thing that we're constantly focused on improving.
Awesome to hear. So, is there there any tools, tip, methods that you would recommend as far as some website lead generation for our listeners?
You know, my favorite thing about websites is speed. It's like the silliest, most straightforward thing, but you want your website to be as fast as possible. The attention span of people and the loading screens, or how long it takes to see something visualize or materialize. Users love it, and because users love it, Google loves it. I've seen our website conversion rate almost doubled purely by improving our speed. And we didn't change the content, we didn't change graphics, we didn't change any interactions. We just made it faster, and that improved conversion by a lot. So my first thing is always like speed. Website should be fast. It should load fast. People should see what they want to see very quickly. The other thing that we do tools wise is we don't like over index too much on tools, to be honest with you. But we do heavily monitor, where's our traffic coming from? How much of our traffic within a given month is from traffic or from, content we published that month versus, old content. It's good to have workhorse content that continues to produce and bring in traffic, but it's really important to make sure that your new content is also raising the bar. We're trying to grow 3, 4, 5x every year. And so, it's not enough to produce your newest content. Can't be a top 15 piece of content. It has to be like a top 5, top 10 at the worst. So, just your run-of-the-mill tracking and analytics is fairly important. And then, we use a CMS to make it easy for people to come in and edit the website. We happen to use Webflow. There's a ton of tools out there. It's really amazing time to be a marketer in terms of, how easy it is for you to edit your website or update content on your website without engineers and needing to kind of go into a code base. So, simple stuff like that. I'm not, I don't over index on tools for the most part, unless they're pretty mission critical to what we're trying to do.
All right. Awesome to hear that, Trevor. Now, well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about you as a leader, you being the head of marketing there for Roboflow. What are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah. We try to move with urgency and intensity. So it's always like, someone's like, oh yeah, let's ship that next week. It's kind of like, well, why not this week? Anything that we can pull forward is the ideal path. We should get things out to users as soon as we can. We should get them out to users with as little friction as we can. So I think we get a lot of inputs, right? The product team has new features coming out. We have to prioritize, when and how do we talk about those? The sales team is telling us feedback from, actual users or customers. Our customer success team is seeing what users are benefiting from our product. So kind of taking all those inputs in any given week. On Friday, we all kind of do a bit of a sprint plan for the week ahead. And then that's like Friday morning. So then Friday we can kind of dive in, figure out if things are possible. Monday morning we sit down as a team, commit to what we're going to ship that week. And then we have a ship list. So by the end of the week, you write down what are you going to ship that week. And then, we publish it to the whole company. So, hey, here's our marketing ship list for this week. This stuff's going to be out. This stuff's going to be live. Here's what we shipped last week. So we held ourselves accountable to a steady cadence of getting things out and into the world. And then paying attention to what works and what doesn't work, So we, at an early stage company, I think it's important, like if something works, keep doing it. There's almost no chance that you've already exhausted that channel. So when I look at our content program growing like 3-4x every year for the past couple of years, there's like 10x ahead, no question. And so focusing on what we know works and execute on that with more intensity is kind of my preference until you really max out a channel. And at an early stage, it's pretty hard to max out a lot of channels. And then the other thing that we like to focus on is we like to own what we produce. We don't push into paid advertising at all. It's only projects that we own and create. And, we've seen a lot of value in owning something, and then that kind of compounds, right? With advertising, the moment you turn off the money, the traffic turns off too. So for us, we'll heavily index on building, things on our own, putting a lot of time into doing something very high quality. And then, ideally it's the best resource out there for our industry, and that should bring in the right people. So it's like setting a high bar and being pretty intense about getting there as fast as we can is kind of what we're all about.
Definitely sounds like you have a full play, different hats there. So awesome to hear that from you, Trevor. But let's jump into our next section here, which is our rapid fire question round. So you ready for them, Trevor?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. First off, what is the last book that you read?
I just finished listening. I didn't read it. I just finished listening to the Elon Musk biography by Walter Isaacson. Really long listen, but I have a dog, so I'm doing an hour long dog walk every day, which helps. And I listen to 2x speed, but it's a really kind of good master's class in making things come true in the world. Just having the intensity that, like, if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it, and it's pretty motivation. It's a lot of motivation in that book. A lot of other maybe bad habits that you don't want to pick up as well, but some good motivation in there.
Absolutely. Yep. Good read there. Next is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just the data connection between web all the way through a closed one. I've never met anyone that's been happy about like tracking that all the way through. There's like first touch, there's last touch, but there's so many touches in between. And it's easy to lose track of, what were the touch points along the way? And, was it one lead and one contact all the way through? Or for enterprises, it's more of a buying committee. It's just, you never get that perfect funnel, and you're kind of always chasing it. And it's always hard to tell if it makes sense to put that extra effort to get a little bit more of insight around that. So yeah, I think some of the data warehouses are getting close to helping fix that, people like Snowflake and stuff. But that takes some skill to understand how to leverage those technologies, and it's a lot of investment.
Oh, yeah, right. Awesome. And well, lastly, Trevor, you have a lot of experience, like you mentioned. You went from SaaS now into developer sales. But what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
I would lean into getting technical skills. I think it's really important that you kind of know from the ground up what's possible and how to kind of create the right environment to achieve what you want to achieve. And, the branding stuff's great. The strategy stuff is great. But I think the breakdown is, if you kind of just know the branding stuff and the strategy stuff, you start working with people like, oh yeah, we can do this. Oh, that'll take us 2 months, or, oh, that'll take us 3 months, or, oh, that'll take me a really long time to do. Then you don't know the tools and the way to get it done. You probably just kind of take that timeline, and before you know it, you're moving 3, 4, 5 times slower than you should be. So I think not being afraid to get into the weeds at any point in your career, I think is really helpful.
Definitely would agree, right? I think that the more you push in, you might trip, but you gotta keep on. So definitely great stuff there from you. Well, Trevor, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about your company?
Vision AI. If you want a computer to be able to understand the world around you, check out Roboflow.
If you guys heard it, you could always visit them at roboflow.com. Everything you need to build and deploy computer vision models. Trevor, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and looking forward to our next episode at PathMonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Trevor.
Thanks.